Kate, so lovely to have you here.
Thanks. I'm really excited.
Yes, yes, I think this is going to be a good conversation. I was just sharing with you how I want to really get a little more personal in this conversation, really hear more about your story because when you give your talk at the summit, you're going to give some really awesome, juicy educational info. So I hope hearing more about just you as a person intrigues people to hear more of that and come to your talk.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so you have a really interesting story just in terms of being a chef and just being involved in the food scene for a while before you got into the nutritional therapy. So I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about that and if there was a moment where you started to see that food was actually medicine. It wasn't just about like being a foodie and having fun taste, but like, oh, this is medicine. Tell me a little about that.
Yeah. So it was really, there's a lot of moments actually. And I had my own health journey that brought me to using food to heal. And then I became a private chef. So I had like the through line of really wanting to use medicine or use food as medicine to nourish my client. And the interesting thing about this family that I worked for, I worked for one family for 5 years as their private chef, and it was an older person and like the surrounding people around him, and he was very much invested in his health, but we had different perspectives. So I was like, they pretty much debunked the butter thing. Like, you really don't need to fear butter anymore. And he's like, no butter, no cholesterol, no red meat. I only cook chicken and fish. And that could only go on so long because I was just like, but butter heals. And he, the kitchen is a very masculine environment. So already I had not too much to stand on because I was just like this woman in the kitchen, and this was just the way that it was. But I decided to go to nutritional therapy school with my salary from private chef so that I could just be really confident in what I learned and what I knew already in my body and my heart. And that was that butter heals and that, fat is good for us and those kinds of things. And so while I never changed his mind, I just did the best that I could. I stopped using seed oils for him. I really put a lot of protein forward meals for him. I shopped exclusively at the farmer's market, all local organic food for him always. And it was really amazing because I got to, shop all over the world, cook beautiful food, become a better cook. And in the meantime, I was going to school. And so I was going, I was deepening in my own health journey just naturally by being a student of nutrition. And so I first started with nutritional therapy, the NTA, and then I went on to do the GAPS training in 2020.
Yeah, yeah. I really want to dig in because you mentioned obviously the knowledge that you got through school. And yes, there has been a huge amount of updates in the nutritional science world where, yeah, the idea that butter causes disease has really been debunked even on a scientific level. But you also mentioned like knowing in your heart. And so I am curious, especially being a mother and having, motherly instincts and all of that, like how you kind of have balanced that knowledge in your life in terms of, okay, you're learning things at school, but also going with your intuition.
Totally. Well, ex that's what I always say on my platform too. Like, I tell moms, I can teach you this thing, but until you experience it in your own body, you're not really going to understand. You're not going to have the knowledge of that embodied experience. So much of what I have learned to be true has come through my own experience and the experience of my children. So there's always many phases and stages to a healing journey, and more opening and understanding of what helps us be well. And a big threshold for me was giving birth. And my first son was born by cesarean, and that was unfortunate. And I was just shocked leaving the hospital with the way that I was, not only like how I was treated. I mean, people treated me like well, they thought they were treating me well, right? But there was so many holes and gaps in the information and knowledge. And because I had the microbiome training before I had that experience, I was like, okay, we are majorly dropping the ball here. Like, there's so much we can be doing to help our children, rebuild and repair from this essentially in my own body as well, because I had now had a major surgery, antibiotics, a huge dose, which I hadn't had antibiotics in years. And that obviously impacts our gut, brain, immune system, can impact the skin, right? So many facets are connected back to the gut. And so when it came time to nourish us both back to health, I was able to implement and experience and really put into practice all of those, pillars that I had learned in school. They became like my real life. And that was the most invaluable training. So it was like experiencing it through my body and my son's body was the most valuable part, because that was giving us data every single day to learn from and to understand how these foods were really impacting our body. And now my son's 4 and he's thriving and he has a very healthy microbiome, and it's wonderful. He can eat a wide range of foods, and we also rely on our staples.
Beautiful. And so, talk a little more about that experience in your own body and seeing that in your children's body. Like, what would you say were the first signs for yourself and for your kids? Like, oh, wow, the food is really changing something. Like, there's some really deep restructuring happening. What did that look like?
Yeah, so for me, because I had already been using those foods for a while, I was able to just know them as like the compass. So when I finished the birth, I was like eating organic Weston Price basically. So I was still eating some sugar, and I was eating chocolate, and I was eating like bread, sourdough bread. So not all the time, not every day, but I still had it in my diet. And my son was spitting up like constantly, and it was really disheartening because he didn't seem super uncomfortable, but I was like, this is not right. And everyone was like, it's normal. It's, common. And I was like, no, no, no. He should not be like chucking my milk every time, every feed, 7, 8 times a day, just like someone else is holding him. And I'm all like, maybe he's going to throw up on you. Like, not sure. And babies do spit up like to a normal degree, but this was not normal. So I went back on the full GAPS protocol, and I didn't exactly do intro, but I had like intro emphasis. So it was like a lot of liver. Like I ate a lot of liver. I ate meat stock every single day. And I was so hungry because I was like there was a lot of caloric output because I'm breastfeeding. So a lot of the nutrition's going to him, but really just focusing on those heavy hitter nutrient dense foods, I improved the spit up by like 80%. And I was like, okay, so like yeast is definitely a picture here, part of the picture here. And like, this is so fantastic. And then when it came to him starting solids, he tried chicken stock for the first time and never spit up again. And so it was just like so drastic and phenomenal how much healing was able to happen with just a little bit of food outside of my breast milk, and then improving the quality of my breast milk and improving my microbiome a bit. It was just so fantastic. And so when it came to like the whole process of starting solids, I couldn't believe what parents are being taught to feed their kids in terms of what I know heals the gut and, develops the gut, and how sensitive a microbiome can be, how sensitive a digestive system can be. And although we had that big hit at the beginning with our birth, like my son was so strong. He was so healthy and beautiful and a happy baby, because I had actually prepared my body with my husband for 2 years or 18 months about before we had a baby. So like he just had he just exuded health in so many ways, even though there was still like things to work on. And so from that perspective, I was like, wow, I'm someone who's been really digging into ancestral nutrition for a while. And I'm seeing my son, yes, he had the C-section birth, but be so sensitive. How are other people doing it in this other way and like just being fine? Like I couldn't fathom how that was. And turns out they're not fine. Because my business basically boomed from this place, and a lot of children are struggling with eczema, allergies, histamine intolerance, digestive issues, all of these things. And so I really focus on the time of starting solids, because I'm like, hey, the first 1,000 days, we can make the biggest nutritional impact on our children's brain, guts, immune system. This is the time to hone in and focus on rebuilding the gut.
Yeah. Yeah, it is amazing. I mean, obviously, my most of my clients have histamine and mast cell issues to some degree, and I am seeing younger and younger kids, like parents of younger and younger kids coming who have had histamine issues almost since birth sometimes, or at least very, very young. So we are definitely seeing this issue expand. And yeah.
Right. And I'm so lucky and grateful for your education too, because I've been able to translate a lot of what you teach into the information for babies. And, I think in general, like anytime there's a new diagnosis or a new like category of terms, people will jump on and think like, oh, I have a histamine issue. And so I always am coming to people and saying like, yes, you probably have some issue with histamines, but it's not something we can't address. And it's also not only histamines, right? Like so many people want it to just be like this thing. And I'm like, yes, and, because it's not, histamines are a naturally occurring neurotransmitter, and we need to be able to process them and break them down, and our liver and our gut flora play a huge role in that. And so just really expanding people's understanding of what's actually going on with their child.
Right. It's a set of symptoms indicating a deeper root cause. And I think that understanding tends to be lacking. So, yeah, I am very grateful for you as well for helping spread that knowledge about what's really
Yeah.
going on here. Um, another thing I want to bring up too is that the healing journey is not always a straight line, right? And so you had these remarkable experiences early on of, oh my gosh, just a small amount of targeted nutritional interventions really can make a difference. I had a similar experience in my healing journey. It was like, okay, I'm sold, right?
Yeah.
Like this works. But obviously there's the ups and downs. And so I'm curious if there were times in your journey or with your kids where you had doubts or you had confusion or you kind of had to go back to the drawing board and how you handled that discouragement, how you kept hope.
Absolutely. I mean, I think one of the scariest things to understand, and this is a big part of the rite of passage, is that like die off is going to happen. It creates more symptoms, and you're like, what? I thought this was supposed to work. And so that's really a 360 mind bend that you got to get behind because your child's body is going to process and heal in a way that might not look like you expect it to. And I remember plenty of times. I mean, one time my son like severely overdosed on sauerkraut. Like his babysitter let him eat like 12 ounces of sauerkraut and like a lot, like way too much. And so she came home, I came home and she was like, he just really kept wanting it. And I took it away for a while. And then he asked for it back and I gave it back. And then in the middle of the night, he had like night terrors, which he had never had before. And so it was like super scary, but I knew what it was related to, like just an overload of this food. And that happens tons with babies because they have a deficiency and they'll be like, they'll gorge. Like this, a really common one this happens with is bone marrow. So moms are like so excited because their baby's eating bone marrow and they're like, yay, bone marrow, bone marrow. And the baby's like, nom, 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 because they really need those fat soluble vitamins. And then 3 hours later, they puke because their gallbladder is not ready. And so it's like, yes, that type of, and that's just not, it's not really a die-off reaction, but it's one example of like, oh, this is kind of a roller coaster because my baby was enjoying this so much and I thought I was doing the right thing, giving him all this food, and then he puked. And so I just reassured them like, hey, it's just a rich food. It's a lot of, fat. And if the body can't handle that, they get it out as fast as possible. Just so you can start again, just slower and more incremental increase of food. And yeah, so I mean that happened again like the first time my son even threw up. I was like super scared and I remember my husband being like, just look at how good his body's doing, Kate. Like look at him, he knows exactly how to do it. We don't have to assist him. Now our job is just to like keep him warm, keep him hydrated, that kind of thing. And it's like that is exactly it. So I work a lot with mothers, helping them feel confident on the journey, even when things seem like dark or like this isn't right, and there's always going to be someone chirping in your ear, like, what are you doing feeding your baby fat? What are you doing? You need to feed him regular stuff, rice cereal, chirp, 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 chirp. It's like, let them chirp. You've got the path. You keep going. You stay steady. You keep your child comfortable, hydrated, fed, well fed, and you get through this. So it is a big thing, but it really pays off because a lot of times when you have those more intense die-off reactions, you start to actually see things get a lot better.
And it's just like I think with people like us who have worked with thousands of people, it's like the patterns are so repetitive,
Yeah.
that like we know that if you can just get through this, like you're gonna feel so much better in a few weeks, even sometimes, maybe a few months. I just see people go over that hump and then it's like, wow, they're a whole different person again and again and again. But it's just pacing them through that experience.
Yeah, I mean, so many, emails, DMs, posts in my Facebook group, like this is happening. And I'm like, that is incredibly common and you're all good. Like, here's the things you can do right now in the moment. Just kind of wait it out. We're supporting the body and it will pass.
Exactly. Well, I'm wondering if just kind of zooming out, just in terms of your like just perspective on the body and how you understand the body, what do you believe now, like about our bodies, about our health that maybe you didn't know before?
Yeah. Well, I believe that you can heal from anything and everything. And that I think, we as mothers have the most power to heal our children, which is something that I thought I knew before. Like I had this instinct and this feeling like I'm going to work with mothers. I'm going to have this business about mothers. I used to say way before I was in nutrition and way before I was the private chef, I was a nanny. And I was like, I'm going to be a food consultant. I'm going to help parents understand how to feed their children because nobody knows how. And now on the other side of that, like it's just really set that mothers are the most equipped to heal their family. They're uniquely equipped. And it's actually, while it sometimes feels like a burden, it's actually an honor to step in and to offer our children the environment, food, but lifestyle, the things that they really need to thrive. And so in a sense, we give up a lot in motherhood, right? You transform, there's a into someone else, into a new person. And, with that for me in particular came um a new way of living and new choices around what I do. And it's just so much better. I love my life now. I'm like 10 million times happier than I was before. I used to have like depression, anxiety. I don't have that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just this reality of life that sometimes you have to strip away to, have new growth.
So
And
true.
yeah. So in the beginning it can feel like, oh my gosh, I'm giving up a lot and I'm losing so much. Um, but yeah, what comes out of that is just so powerful and so sacred.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, do you want to say anything about what people can expect from your talk that you'll be giving at the Rebuild Yourself Summit?
Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about the mother-baby microbiome, the mother-baby dyad, and how we are uniquely positioned to care for our microbiomes in the first 1,000 days of your child's life, which is from conception to about 2 years old. And we'll talk a little bit about how to start solids for your baby, how to repair from birth. And yeah, it's going to be a great talk. If you saw my talk last year, there will be new points. And if you are new to me completely, you'll enjoy the conversation. You won't need to hear anything else from me previously.
Beautiful. Oh, I'm so excited. Your talk was a huge hit last year, so I'm really excited that you're going to be back.
Great. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time today, Kate.
All
And
right. Thank
yeah, I'll put the link to your website in the description